Welcome back to Strawberry Inc., where we delve into the most compelling and heart-wrenching true crime stories. I'm your host, Santiago. Today we explore a case that has shaken communities and highlighted critical flaws in public systems. This is a tragic story of Harmony Montgomery and the criminal actions of her father, Adam Montgomery. Harmony Renee Montgomery was born on June 7, 2014. She faced challenges in life, including partial blindness in her left eye. Due to her mother's struggles, Harmony was placed in foster care shortly after birth. In 2019, her father, Adam Montgomery, was granted full custody by domestic judge Mark Newman. Tragically, Harmony's life with her father was marred by abuse. Reports indicate that Adam subjected her to severe physical harm. Family members noticed injuries, including a black eye, but despite reports to authorities, no effective action was taken. Harmony was last seen in 2019. This led her mother to start worrying about her whereabouts because Adam had not dropped her off for Thanksgiving that year. Alarmingly, it wasn't until December 2021 that she was reported missing. The significant delay hindered investigative efforts. Authorities launched an extensive search, but the trail had gone cold. On June 4, 2021, Adam was arrested after being questioned at his home over the disappearance. He denied ever being involved with it. He did not resist and was processed at the Manchester police station, and shortly after booked into the Hillsborough County Jail, where he was held without bail or bond. In August 2022, law enforcement concluded that Harmony had been murdered, with evidence pointing to her father, Adam Montgomery, as the predator. Despite the absence of her body, Adam was indicted and charged with second-degree murder. He was prosecuted by State Attorney Christopher Knowles and represented by defense attorney James Brooks. Parallel to the murder investigation, Adam Montgomery faced unrelated firearms charges. As a convicted felon, he was prohibited from possessing firearms. However, he was found in possession of a shotgun and a rifle, leading to weapons offense charges. In 2003, he was convicted of these offenses and sentenced to 75 years in prison. He would as well be granted the chance of parole after completing 32 years. These convictions underscored a pattern of criminal behavior, painting a grim picture of a man whose actions have been devastating. In February 2024, Adam Montgomery stood trial for the murder of his daughter Harmony. The prosecution presented compelling evidence of his abusive behavior and the tragic end Harmony suffered. The jury found him guilty of second-degree murder. In May 2024, Adam was sentenced to 45 years in prison to life for Harmony's murder. This sentence would be served consecutively with his prior sentences. This meaning that the sentence was life, but he would be granted parole, most likely after serving 45 years. That depends on his behavior while incarcerated in prison. He would first have to have his first parole hearing after 32 years to be dismissed from that case, and then have another hearing after the 45 years. However, due to his age, he will most likely die in prison. Adam was initially placed in the state prison in Concord, New Hampshire, to serve his sentence, but was transferred to another facility in a different state. Currently, his whereabouts and reason for the transfer are being kept secret for his own safety. Harmony's stepmother, Kyla Montgomery, was charged with perjury for lying to investigators working on the case in order to defend her husband, Adam. She eventually reached a bargain and pleaded guilty to the charges, receiving a sentence of 1.5 years in prison. The county's judge, Amy Messer, was honored for bringing such a dysfunctional family to justice. Harmony's case had sparked widespread outrage and calls for reform. This tragedy highlights systematic failures of protective services and underscores a need for comprehensive changes to prevent such horrors in the future. The story of Harmony Montgomery is a heartbreaking reminder of the vulnerabilities faced by precarious situations. It's a call to action for communities and authorities to inform that nobody's child falls through the cracks of abuse. 2 appeals for Adam Montgomery's cases are currently pending. Kyla is not able to appeal due to the bargain she took. She was arrested in January 2024 and held without bond during the legal proceedings. This was due to the seriousness of the charges and the nature of her involvement in the case regarding Harmony Montgomery's disappearance and death. Kyla was prosecuted by Assistant Attorney General Jason Duval and represented by defense attorney Sarah Anastas. Hillsborough County District Judge William Delker initially sentenced her to 7 years in prison with the chance of parole after completing 3.5. However, she had already been detained in the Merrimack County Jail ever since her arrest and processing at Manchester Police Station for the past 6 months. With the deal, she as well had a chance to testify against Adam truthfully, and in order to have 18 months taken out of the sentence. That is why the sentence ended up being 1.5 years. However, for good behavior, she was granted an earlier parole and released in May 2025 from the Concord Women's Prison after doing nearly 16 months. Thank you for joining us in this episode of Strawberry Ink. Let's honor Harmony's memory by advocating for the protection of people's children. Until next time, stay safe, and as always, keep supporting Strawberry Ink. Till next time, goodbye.